Welcome to Fishing Britain. This week we're in a secret high altitude testing location where we'll be doing some high octane drag racing. I'll be showing you with a flick of the wrist you'll be able to fish in all those tricky situations. We've got Big D with news and lovable tough Charlie Boy with Hooked on YouTube. But first, we've been asked, do we ever go course fishing, Aaron?
Do we do course fishing here on Fishing Britain? Of course we do. Today we're on the bank of Hartleton Lake, a naturally stocked lake in Ross-on-Wye, and it's on the banks we've found two of the Daiwa sponsored Daiwa Gordon League, almost set up and ready to dip their tackle. We have the captain and the chief. Mark Treasure, the captain of the team, tells us why he's brought us to this wonderful spot.
The lake contains a large head of skimmer bream. It's fun fishing. If you come here, you will catch a lot of fish. We used to fish competitions here. Sadly, they're not as common as they used to be. But if you want to come for a nice day's fishing in brilliant surroundings, this is the place to go. The other reason I like this lake is tench. There are odd tench in here and they're a lovely fish to catch at 3 or 4 pounds. They just break up the day. But the other bonus, in my eyes, there's no carp in here that are going to bother us. Most commercial fisheries, you can't fish for roach or skimmers without having to deal with carp. And I'm old school. I like to catch natural fish and not necessarily fish stock ponds. So that's just me.
Talking of old school, I think the bell just went and it's time to start making the lunches.
What I'm going to do is mix up my ground bait for skimmers. Now, we don't need a lot of ground bait here. We're pleasure fishing. There's no need to get my big cement mixer out and mix up kilos of ground bait. So I'm just going to mix up a bit of sweet F1 fish meal. But again, I'm going to mix it 50-50 with brown crumb. Skimmers love brown crumb. This cost me a few pounds for a lot of kilos. This costs £6 a bag. It's neat. You're going to get a reputation of being tight, but it's another money saving idea. So I'll put in about 50-50. Don't need a lot. So I'm going to mix it on the wet side. I'll mix it once, I'll let it sort of soak in a little bit, and then I'll put it through a riddle. Now people say, well, why would you put it through a riddle? Is it to get all the bits and pieces out? No, it's not. It just makes it an even wetness. That's all you riddle it for. The other thing to note, I'm not going to colour it. On clear waters, you might put some black dye in. Fish seem to sit more comfortably over a dark ground bait. But if you look at the colour of this water, it's red. Okay, so the soil around here is red. So that water is red colour all the time, always thickly sort of coloured. So I'm just going to use it natural. That's as close to the lake bed as I'm going to get. Making it darker isn't going to help me. It's an amazing consistency, look at that. I just say even wetness, no big lumps, no coagulation. The coarseness depends on the coarseness of the bits that you use, depends on what you expect to catch. If there's a lot of big bream and skimmers or big fish, then you're going to want a coarser mix. If you're expecting it to be a little bit harder, the bites are going to be less easy to come by, then you want a finer mix, because what you don't want to be doing is the fish to eat the ground bait and not your maggot or your worm. So that to me, it smells lovely. I won't say I'm going to eat it, but...
Don't tell us you haven't tried it, Mark. On the next peg is Dave Mickelwright, or known to the fishing world as the Chief. Between them, they thought, as it's a natural lake, that they would see who could catch 3 different species, but Dave is already at a disadvantage.
Well, I've never been to this place before. I've got absolutely no idea. I think I've been nobbled by my captain a bit. I've no idea. I believe there's skimmers in here, so that's a definite target fish. Roach, I'm told, maybe. And then I'm really in the dark. He's not really saying much. He said there's the odd tench and the odd perch, but who really knows? But I think in terms of tactics, probably set 2 lines up, one close, probably about 5-6 yards out, and one probably about 12 yards out, just to spread it out a bit, and also to put different baits to see if we can see what we can attract on the different menus or the different tables I'm going to lay for the fish. So on the inside, I think we'll probably loose feed some casters and hemp, so get them gently dropping through the water and hopefully attract some of the fish that feed up in the water, like roach, rudd maybe, I'm not sure if there's any in here. And then put a rig which is very, very light, but shotting is spread out. in order that the bait is dropping down with the loose feed. Don't want to put a big weight down the bottom and get it down through the fish. Want to slow it right down so it's dropping down through. And then on the further rig, and I'm going to put some pellets, some dampened pellets down on there, so a bit more sort of ground baity rather than just the loose feed.
Like us here at Fishing Britain, when you're sponsored by a top brand such as Daiwa, you are looked after when it comes to great top-of-the-range gear. Like our Target Challenge seat box, for instance. But you do have to prove that you can use it and that you'll look after it. After all, you have branding responsibilities and all that.
Okay. I've broken a 4 section by the look of it. Oh, no. It's all right, I got a spare. Yeah, what happened was I had the pole on there and I've just slipped over it and landed on the tray and it's bust against the tray. It's all right, these things happen.
Luckily, Daiwa's manufacturing methods are so good that his number 4 section from his 5-year-old Daiwa pole fits perfectly to his brand new not been fished with yet rarity he got just the other day. It also looks like Dave might be having some issues too, and we haven't even started fishing yet. The nerves of being on Fishing Britain might be getting to them both. This is what happens if you try to start before the hooter. A monster 2-ounce roach has pulled off his top kit and is swimming away with it. With a bit of quick thinking, he is now trying to fish out his fishing gear with more fishing gear, and it looks like he's caught it. Most pleasure anglers would probably be quite happy to get their tackle back, but as a top competition angler, Dave has every right to be upset. And why?
Lost the damn fish.
With their tackle reset, let's get the tri-species friendly underway. Mark starts with a single caster and Dave kicks off with a worm. It seems the ground bait is working a treat, and Dave is straight into his first species. It's a skimmer.
Well, I've got a fish on.
Oh, that's not a perch, is it?
Skimmer. Not very big.
And as it goes plop into the net, Mark hooks his first fish.
I think it is. This could be interesting. I think it's a rudd.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've got a rudd. It's my first fish. That's a bonus. A roach and a skimmer to come, and this is all over. That's definitely a rudd.
Definitely.
I'd like to say I targeted it, but even I can't get away with that.
It's 1-1, but now things have gone a bit quiet and Dave isn't getting any bites. An angler with his amount of experience and skill, it surely can't be his setup. He's got the right float, the right depth, the right spot.
Well, probably why I didn't get a bite then was the fact that there was no bait on the hook.
Always best to have bait on the hook, Dave, but what's the strangest one you've ever used?
Jelly babies. I tried a double jelly baby to start with on a very large hook. Hooked the green one through the head and the red one through the foot, very important. Put them in, and as soon as the bloody thing hit the bottom, the elastic went around. It was a 12-pounder, I couldn't believe it. Nearly ripped the lot out of my hand. I was absolutely amazed when it went under. Wasn't even looking. Suddenly, whoa! Oh yeah.
Is it a perch?
It's a perch. Oh.
If you get 3 before me, can we make it best of 4?
What do you reckon, Aaron? I'd say that's definitely a perch, wouldn't you?
That is identified as perch.
Fantastic. Just one to get then?
Just one to get.
It's a perch.
I know. I thought I stole the show there.
Right, you're in trouble now, Dave. I'm going for a skimmer.
Oh no, yeah,
This is the banker now.
You've got the weird rod, haven't you?
Again, suckers for red maggots, perch. Worms, red maggots. Excellent. So, I'm going to change my rig now. I'm going down the pellet. I'm going to see if I can catch a skimmer. This is very tight. I'm more stressed about this than I am in a match. The light's changed. I'm going to go out for a skimmer. I've got a yellow top float and I'll not see it out on the line I'm going to fish for skimmers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiten the float top up first of all, and then put some black paint on the top. Black against that white background should be perfect for me to see. Let it dry for a bit. In the meantime, I'll drop back in on the inside where that paint's drying and see if I can get lucky with a roach down there. I took a time out to give him a tip then. You can't do that. I should really have blackened up that float before I started. It's costing me time now to go out there for him. There's nothing I can do about it at the moment. Hope it comes off. That's a skimmer.
Skimmer again.
I'm just blackening up my float top.
Do we think this is the winning fish?
I think it is. It's huge. Absolutely huge. Look.
Oh, I don't believe it.
It's a roach.
It is.
It's a roach. I think that's
Don't
3
believe
hours.
it, another rudd. Is it a roach?
It is.
The first of 4 species?
Could be.
Hey?
It's only taken about 40 minutes for Dave to catch 3 species, and about 41 minutes for Mark to do the same. But the fishing itch hasn't quite been scratched, so they fish on. And in about 2 hours, they easily prove why they are the captain and the chief of the Daiwa Gordon League. If you want to know more about fishing at Hartleton Lakes, then give the number on the screen a call.
Lots more maggot angling coming up soon. But from coarse to short and curly, here's David with the news.
This is Fishing Britain News. The classic fishing festival is underway in Fermanagh. The 39th annual competition has more than 200 entries angling for the title of King of the Erne. This year's prize fund is worth more than £20,000. It's sponsored by Waterways Ireland and Daiwa. Japan's traditional Ukai Cormorant fishing season has opened. It takes place on the Nagara-Gawa River with a flotilla of spectators nearby to witness the spectacle. The fishing method using the trained birds dates back some 1300 years. Under the technique, skilled fishermen known as usho, using lit torches attached to the front of their boats, encourage the cormorants to catch fish in their long beaks, and they're attracted by the lights and by the shouts of ho ho. Crucian carp are on the decline, and the Angling Trust wants to do something about it. It's launching a national Crucian conservation project to promote the conservation of the species and its habitat. It's doing it at this year's Coarse Fish Conference, held on the 28th of May at the South Street Arts Centre in Reading, Berkshire. Visit the Angling Trust website for more. The European Commission wants to stop all types of drift netting in all EU waters by the beginning of next year. Although rules are already in place to forbid using drift nets to catch certain migratory fish, the practice continues to be a cause of concern due to the incidental catching of marine mammals, sea turtles and seabirds, which are mostly protected under EU legislation. And finally, commercial fishermen have caught 2 unusual deep sea sharks in the last week. They netted a rare megamouth shark off the coast of Shizuoka in Japan, in what is thought to be only the 58th sighting ever of the deep water animal. The female shark was caught at a depth of 2,600 feet and weighed close to 1,500 pounds. Meanwhile, shrimpers fishing in the Gulf of Mexico pulled up an 18-foot goblin shark from 2,000 feet of water. You are now up to date with Fishing Britain News. Fishing for facts, landing the stories.
Thank you, David. Do you know that man lives on a diet of German sausages and Easter eggs? How does he stay so slim? Still to come, our engineers are getting all the equipment ready to put the hardy Fortuna X3 Ultimate drag system to the test. But first, it's time to show you how to fly fish in those impossible situations. Welcome to the fisherman's nightmare. Bank of trees, or high bank, or if you're a reservoir angler, a dam wall. Now, how often have you just given up, gone home fishing, whether you're sea trout fishing or trout fishing? I'm going to show you a few casts that will enable you to get your flies out where most anglers wouldn't even dream of fishing. In this situation, most fishermen will tell you, try a steeple cast. So let me show you a steeple cast. First of all, start low with the tip, and what you've got to do, you've got to stop the tip of the rod before the vertical, which will push that line high into the sky behind. So let's show you that one. So we stop early, it goes up this side of the trees. Now the problem with that is because the line is climbing so high behind you, it then crashes down on the water in front of you. So what you have to try and do is change the trajectory of the line going forward. So stop early, pull down, push out, but it will still crash quite heavy. Another one is a circle cast. So you throw the line underneath the tip and around. The great thing with that is that the line is continuously climbing all the way around. The downside again, as it's coming forward, it's coming down on that crash plane and it will hit the water quite hard. Just circle there, climbing, hits quite hard. So let me show you another one. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to stand sideways. Now the great thing with this is that I can actually look where the gap in the tree is. I'm going to turn my rod this way, pointing towards that gap. Then I'm going to push it up into that gap, turn round and push out. That way, the line actually won't crash down on the water. So we push up there, turn round, push out. Do that one once again. Keep the tip right down there. Point it up, turn it round, push it out. And the movement of turning your hand and pushing it out actually propels the line parallel to the water, as opposed to the other cast where it crashes down. And the other good thing about this one, even though I've got a really high bank there, I've actually got a gap in the trees down there. I could do it this way, turn it that way, push it through the gap, push it out that way. So that cast pointed up or pointed through the gap in the trees will enable you to fish anywhere and also where most anglers would walk past. It's a good job I'm not trying that cast in this wind. Now start your engines. It's Gear Guide.
We're putting the Hardy's Fortuna X3 drag to the test. So why the high altitude testing location, you might ask? Well, just look at it. It looks better than doing it in a field, right? The Fortuna X3 is a beast of a fly reel, producing up to 32 pounds of pure smooth stopping power. It features multiple carbon brake pads, 7-point waterproof sealing and a rapid toolless spool change. With all the power to stop hard-fighting saltwater species, this would also make a great salmon reel. But can it stop a lean fighting Morgan? We have a fit bipedal captivity bred version here, and we have transported it very carefully all the way up here, taking all the precautions. So, the first test, can the Fortuna X3 bring our tame running Morgan to a halt? Off he goes, and the drag is applied increasingly until... yes, he has been stopped dead in his tracks. That's some power right there. Those multiple carbon brake pads bring in the Morgan to a stop smoothly without so much as a wheeze. So let's up the game and put our Morgan on a high-performance Chris Hoy designed special and see if gearing will put the pressure on the X3. Ooh, that took some doing, but it's either brought the Morgan to a halt or it has cheese-wired its way through and we're waiting for the top half to slide off. No, it looks like the X3 sucked up the inertia and put a stop to our Morgan getting away. Well, it might seem the Fortuna drag is unbeatable, but it's time to bring out the big guns. This is the latest and quite possibly the pinkest electro power scooter we could find in Hal's house. It might look like the hoverboard from Back to the Future, but it's better in one way. It actually exists. And he's off! You might be able to make out the high-pitched squeal of joy from the Morgan as he operates the throttle, and dare he open it all the way. Oh no, I think we've broken the line, maybe the Morgan, and definitely my fingers. But the Fortuna is completely unfazed by the whole incident. It goes to show that no matter what you hook into with a Fortuna X3, as long as it's not on a pink scooter and you don't have a cheap line on it, then you're going to have a good chance of getting that sucker in. Well, that was fun. No ambulance needed, but next gear guide we might need the fire brigade, so keep watching.
Now it's over to the man that needs no introduction, because he does it himself.
Jacoby here. This is my weekly roundup of the best fishing on YouTube. Let's start by talking rivers. This is a beautifully made trailer for a DVD called The River by Chicago-based filmmaker Robert Thompson and about Michigan's Osable River. Designed to make you gasp and cry, it shows you the landing of big fish and the disappointment of losing big fish. It is an object lesson in fishing filmmaking to match the work of Hugh Miles and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones? Doesn't he work for us? Over in Canada now, Shannon hooks and plays a 4-foot 10-inch Fraser River white sturgeon, and Dean talks about why it looks the way it does in an interesting though annoying way. Another river, another Dean. This Dean catches a massive Mekong catfish in Thailand. Roland Steinberger goes out after Xander in the Danube in Austria on this big fat flouncy fishing film. This is a video for watching while you're on the motorway with your head out of the window of the car, really. This is what pike and muskie, which is a bit like pike, do with lures. They like them moving like fish. They don't like them bumping into weed. More lake predators and Waters and Woods John with his weird Toy Story voice is out with a walleye guide in Wisconsin. Dale Stroshine of wackywalleye.com. We go to the other side of the world for a big tuna, 100 kilometres off New Zealand, giving 2 hours of play on a hand line to a man in a little dinghy as it is getting dark. Man, these Kiwis are hard. And finally, man grabs fish. This man is trying to haul a hammerhead shark off a tarpon. Not sure why, but it all stands up to the promise of the channel called Chew on This. Click on the links to watch the videos, or you will find them in this week's description. If you would like to send in a video for Hooked on YouTube, ping me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Well folks, that's it for another week. I hope you enjoyed the programme. If you have, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, which is somewhere up in the sky up here, if it hasn't been blown away. If you want to keep up to date with all the other programmes on the channel, please visit our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, and fill out that constant contact form. Don't forget, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'll see you next week on Fishing Britain.